Symbolism of the Tarot, Part 6. Card 16. The Tower. I saw rising from the earth to heaven a high tower, whose top reached beyond the clouds. Black night was all around me, and thunder rumbled in the air. Then suddenly the sky opened, a thunderclap shook the whole earth, and lightning struck the top of the tower. Tongues of flame shot out from heaven, the whole tower filled with fire and smoke, and I saw the builders of the tower falling from its top. Look, said the voice, nature hates deceit, and man cannot subjugate himself to her laws. Nature is patient for a long time, and then suddenly with one blow she annihilates all that goes against her. If only men could see that almost all that they know consists of the ruins of destroyed towers, perhaps then they would cease to build them. Genesis, chapter 11. And the whole earth was of one language, and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and there they dwelt. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built. And the Lord said, Behold, the people are one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. Card 8. Truth. When I became possessed of the keys, read the book, and understood the symbols, I was permitted to lift the veil of the temple, and enter the inner sanctuary. And there I saw a woman with a golden crown, and a purple mantle. In one hand she held an uplifted sword, and in the other a pair of scales. Seeing her, I trembled with fear because her look was infinitely deep and terrible, drawing me like an abyss. You are seeing the truth, said the voice. Everything is weighed in these scales. That sword is eternally lifted in defense of justice, and nothing can escape it. But why do you turn your eyes from the scales and the sword? Are you afraid? They deprive you of your last illusions. How will you live on earth without those illusions? You wished to see truth, and now you see her. But remember what awaits a mortal when he has seen the goddess. He will never again be able to shut his eyes to what does not please him, as he has done hitherto. He will see truth perpetually, always, and in everything. Can you bear this? You have seen truth. Now you have to go further, even if you do not wish to do so. Card 15. The Devil. Terrifying black night enveloped the earth, and in the distance burned a lurid red flame. A strange fantastic figure became visible to me as I drew near. High above the earth I saw the hideous red face of the devil, with large hairy ears, a pointed beard and the curved horns of a goat. Between the horns of the devil's forehead an inverted pentagram shone with phosphorescent light. Two grey wings, membranous like the wings of a bat, were extended behind him. The devil held up one naked fat arm, with elbow bent and fingers outspread, and on the palm I recognized the sign of black magic. In the other hand he held a burning torch, pointing downward, from which rose clouds of black suffocating smoke. The devil sat upon a great black cube, gripped between the claws of his beast-like shaggy legs. A man and a woman were chained to an iron ring in the front of the cube. I saw that they were the same man and woman whom I had seen in the garden, but that now they had horns and tails with fiery tips. This is the picture of the fall, the picture of weakness, said the voice, the picture of lies and of evil. These are the same people, but they began to believe in themselves and in their own powers. They said that they knew themselves what was good, and what was evil. They mistook their weakness for strength, and then deceit subjugated them. Then I heard the voice of the devil. I am evil, he said, in so far as evil can exist in this best of all worlds. In order to perceive me one must see crookedly, wrongly and narrowly. 3 paths lead to me: conceit, suspicion and accusation. My chief virtues are calumny and slander. I complete the triangle, the 2 other sides of which are death and time. In order to escape from this triangle it is only necessary to see that it does not exist. But how to do that is not for me to tell. For I am evil, which men invented in order to have a justification for themselves, and in order to regard me as the cause of all the wrongdoing of which they are guilty themselves. I am called the king of lies, and truly I am the king of lies, for I am the greatest product of all deception. Card 9. The Hermit. After long wanderings in a sandy waterless desert, where nothing lived but snakes, I met a hermit. He was wrapped in a long cloak, with a hood drawn over his head. In one hand he held a long staff, and in the other a lighted lantern, although it was broad daylight and the sun was shining. I searched for man, said the hermit, but I have long since abandoned the search. Now I am searching for buried treasure. Do you also wish to search for it? First you must get a lantern. For without a lantern you will always be finding treasures, but your gold will turn to dust. And understand this, the first mystery. We do not know what treasure it is we search for, whether it is that which was buried by our ancestors, or that which will be buried by our descendants. Card 14. Temperance, time. I saw an angel standing between earth and heaven, clothed in a white robe, with wings of flame and a golden halo around his head. He stood with 1 foot on the land, and the other on the sea, and behind him the sun was rising. On the angel's breast was the sign of the sacred book of the tarot, the square, and within it the triangle. On his brow was the sign of eternity and life, the circle. In his hands the angel held 2 cups, one of gold and one of silver, and between the cups there flowed an incessant stream that sparkled with all the colors of the rainbow. But I could not say from which cup it flowed, and into which cup it was flowing. And with terror I realized that I had come to the last mysteries from which there is no return. I looked at the angel, at his signs, at his cups, at the rainbow stream between the cups, and my human heart fluttered with fear, and my human mind was wrought with the anguish of incomprehension. The name of the angel is Time, said the voice. On his forehead is the circle. This is the sign of eternity and the sign of life. In the angel's hands are 2 cups, golden and silver. 1 cup is the past, the other the future. The rainbow stream between them is the present. You see that it is flowing in both directions. This is time in its most incomprehensible aspect for man. Men think that everything is incessantly flowing in one direction. They do not see that everything eternally meets, that one thing comes from the past, and another from the future, and that time is a multitude of circles turning in different directions. Understand this mystery, and learn to distinguish the opposite currents in the rainbow stream of the present. Card 10. The Wheel of Fortune. I walked on, absorbed in deep meditation, endeavoring to understand my vision of the angel. And suddenly raising my head I saw in the midst of the sky an immense revolving circle, covered in Kabbalistic letters and signs. The circle revolved with fearful speed, and together with it, now rising, now falling, revolved the symbolic figures of the serpent and the dog, and on the top of the circle, motionless, sat the Sphinx. At the 4 corners of the sky I saw on the clouds, the 4 beasts of the apocalypse, one like a lion, another like a calf, the third with the face of a man, and the 4th like a flying eagle, and each of them was reading an open book. And I heard the voice of the animals of Zarathustra. Thus spake Zarathustra 3. Everything goes, everything returns, eternally rolls the wheel of being. Everything dies, everything blossoms forth again, eternally runs the year of being. Everything breaks, everything is united anew, eternally builds itself the same house of being. Everything parts, everything meets again, the ring of being remains eternally true to itself. Beings begin in every now, around every here rolls the sphere of there. The middle is everywhere. Crooked is the path of eternity.